He used to say central casting on The Apprentice all the time, though. Yeah, well, I never watched The Apprentice, so but it doesn't really matter. It's when you're doing it as you're running for president. It's there's some reason you're saying it. And some people say it's because, they pick these people. Yeah, I think they do. They pick. I mean, I see it even in my own profession at a small level. I see how they make sure they keep the corrupt chief nursing officers. They keep those ones. And those people should be dealt with. I mean, if nothing else, they need to be dealt with on the fact that they're not a leader. But then you have to go up the chain, right? Because then the leader above them is corrupted and willing to do the wrong thing. And all of them really just kind of hang their hat up at the end of the day and just say, well, I got to do what I got to do. I got to, put food on the table. But that's how the entire system, the entire world just becomes one big corrupt mess. And why Jesus said that the prince of the air is the prince of darkness. And all of them would say, well, no, I'm not corrupt. But see, but they are too. So, it's at every level of industry, really, because the corrupt ones they'll hang around because they're willing to do what's wrong. Where I worked, hired somebody that wasn't even a nurse. And then she went on to get her board, go and take the test though, and then they hired her back, even though she lied. And they obviously didn't do some background check. No, because that's the people they're looking for. Are you kidding me? That's the people this world is looking for. It's the people that lie. Especially at leaders. Leaders, that's what they want. Because then they know, no, that's somebody that we can get to lie for us when we need it to be done. That's at every level. I realized that long before Trump came into office, that the way that system operates, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a doctor, or the way it operates all the way up to the top, and it comes from the top, it just trickles down into everything, is that it always has to be corrupt people. It always has to be, and maybe they probably say that they're not. I mean, I'm not saying that at the smaller levels they're corrupted to where they belong in jail, but they're morally bankrupt. That's what CEOs of the hospital need, is moral bankruptcy and leadership. So that's why they go through American Nurses Association. That's why the credentialing boards don't matter. None of it, because everything they stand for is nothing that helps our situation in healthcare and nursing. So, why have any of these people? Why have any of these associations? Why have any of what good are they? What good they are is to the dimwits they follow. That's what they are. They're dimwits to their Lord and Saviors that they do wrong for. And they don't know it. They're just dimwits themselves. They just decide, well, it's okay. If the CEO of my hospital and the board members of my hospital are telling me that this is what I should do, then they know best. That's sort of the attitude. But, as somebody who's a nurse who doesn't have I'm a registered nurse, but I don't have 25 letters after my name, okay? You can recognize who's morally bankrupt. And so when you see people at leadership levels that know better and they're never held accountable, it's because they're never held accountable because the people above them are corrupt, and the people above them are corrupt, and the people above them are corrupt, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. It's a trickle-down, corrupt, morally bankrupt system. So, it doesn't matter if he said it on The Apprentice all the time. I mean, the fact is that it is a lot like central casting, but the people that are casting people, let's say, whether for a job, whether it's an acting job or a chief nursing officer job or a medical chief of a hospital or a superintendent of a school, whatever it is, a politician, yet whoever's casting them is corrupted. Because that's why we have, there's no system that's operating on any kind of moral basis, any kind of moral direction. Because most of the world thinks, well, who cares? That's the attitude. That's the attitude. Who cares? But see, if you have people at the top, okay, that do operate on a a moral basis on being, morally doing the right thing, okay, then what you would happen is that eventually that trickles down so that all of those garbage leaders at the lower levels are done away with because they either are weak and don't want to do the right thing because they're weak, in which case they shouldn't be a leader, or two, they just have no problem being corrupt, in which case both of those serve that corrupt system. So if you're going to fix it, then you need people that are you need somebody that's putting in people that are morally driven. I mean, morally driven to do the right thing. So like where I work, they're now making us take 14 patients. So that chief nursing officer and the social worker, psychologist, MD with her that is pushing this and doesn't care about their employees. Should anything be done about them? Most people would say there's nothing you can do. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. I looked online. Who can I report these people to? What can I do about it? No, nothing. Because the credentialing board, they're too busy doing education. Okay, education for what? What, education for nurses and doctors to go and get some other certification when really you could be making a difference in the world by doing something, nursing associations and all of that, doing something about these moral deadbeats so that our system operated better? No. All these organizations, they're just part of the problem. And then I guess American Nurses Association says that if you don't feel it's safe to take the amount of patients you're being given, then you have a right to say, I'm not going to take that many. But if it's in the middle of your shift and you leave, you can't do that. But so they're all part of the abandonment problem. Yeah. So if nurses I'm saying this because nurses take a set of patients, you can't leave. I'm not going to do that. If you put me in a dangerous situation, I will leave. I will. You're not going to intimidate me and make me make the workplace so hostile and so bad that you're making it dangerous, and then you're expecting me to stay there because the nursing profession says I can't abandon. No, I have a right to protect myself. And when my employers don't protect staff, and they use the excuse that because they don't do it because there's nobody to go to do anything about it, then I would fight that all the way to the end. But it is that whole system. Do you what I'm trying to say? Okay. What point is there to American Nurses Association if after all these years they've never been able to do anything about all this nurses that are morally bankrupt, that are in leadership positions? Well, they don't care because they are morally bankrupt. They were designed to serve the people that are doing the central casting, the people that are picking the people for these positions or roles, whatever you want to say. Picking somebody for an acting job is the same thing as hiring somebody, to be a nurse in a hospital or anything like that. So they help keep the diseased system in place. Because when you're an organization, no matter what profession, and your job is you're about ethics, and that's what American Nurses Association claims, and they're tied to the credentialing board, then that should be the sole responsibility you have. So there should be something done about the people that do that to nurses, that put nurses in dangerous situations. Because clearly they don't have a conscience that tells them they shouldn't do this. And that's not somebody that should work in healthcare, most especially psych. So I think he's saying it for bigger reasons. Even if, let's just say, even if it's just the fact that whoever is the head of the central casting, let's say, you need to have somebody that is not morally bankrupt. When you have a leader that is not morally bankrupt, they will do the right thing and they will take the filth out of office and make sure that the people that are at all levels, even at the private level, because that's part of the problem too here. Also here is the federal government, but the private sector. We have too many people at the highest of levels that go along with the worst things.